From WOKR, Rochester, this is News Source 13 at 11.
Good evening, I'm Jenny Ryan.
And I'm Don Elhard. The search for a missing college student will resume tomorrow morning. Nancy Matsumoto is a student at William Smith College in Geneva. That is about 50 miles southeast of Rochester. The 20-year-old told her roommate she was going jogging yesterday morning. She has not been seen since. News Source 13's Patrice Walsh spent the evening in Geneva and has the latest on the missing student.
As night falls on the Hobart and William Smith campus, fear for the safety of Nancy Matsumoto grows.
I heard it on the radio today, and I got chills all over my body. It was just so weird knowing that I know her.
But those closest to the co-ed try to remain optimistic.
We've had police coming up to us all day, giving us updates. They've called off the search tonight. They're going to start again tomorrow with helicopters. We can only hope for the best right now.
Friends like Josh Lappin say it's uncharacteristic for Nancy Matsumoto to take off without telling anyone. But they also say she had been feeling down recently.
We have a feeling that she's going through some very tough times right now.
This is Emerson Hall, the dorm where Nancy Matsumoto lives. Tonight, students who are resident advisors are meeting with deans from the college to talk about what happened and to also discuss what they can do to keep other students calm throughout this situation.
The college is also offering counseling services for those students who need it.
We always do, on an ongoing basis with students, explain to them the safety measures that anyone should take in any community to be safe. And we have a whole education program around that. We are not doing anything specific with regard to this case, in response to this case, yet. We certainly will if there seems to be reason to do it. It's a delicate line to walk in terms of trying very hard to do our best with the situation and not raise hysteria.
And Patrice joins us now with more. A little bit curious, you're out on the campus tonight, what the mood is, because something like this obviously raises concerns.
Understandably so, students are scared, they're worried about Nancy's safety, but they're also trying to remain optimistic. They're looking ahead to the police search tomorrow, hoping it will turn up some leads. And police also ask anyone with information on her last seen wearing a blue warm-up suit to please call them, Geneva Police.
Okay, thank you, Patrice. Obviously, concern on every college campus when something like this happens.
Yeah, and an experiment in security at a Rochester college is now being looked at by colleges and universities all over our country. This week, in fact, representatives from 2 schools will be visiting Nazareth College. As we found out tonight, they're looking at a security system that makes students part of the solution and not just the consequence. Nazareth College senior Erin Mills goes places at night she didn't dare 2 years ago. A palm-sized security device she carries has made a big difference. It has put security at Erin's fingertips.
And I feel very confident with the system that if in case there ever was an emergency, someone would be at my assistance right away.
Erin is safe with her security device, indoors or out, as long as she stays on campus. Once that button is pressed, it sends out a signal. This is one of the security device receivers. There are over 200 on campus. They pick up signals from the handheld devices. When a signal is picked up, one of 2 things happens. An alarm will sound here and on a computer in the security office. The ringing alarm on the computer pinpoints exactly where help on campus is needed. So far in the 2 years the experiment has been running, the system has not been used for an emergency. Hal Fife sells it to colleges and says it enhances the security already there.
There's blue light phones on campuses, there's telephones. The thought of something happening to you, looking at that blue light phone and not being able to get to it. When this, you just squeeze 2 buttons together at the same time.
The system at Nazareth is teaching Hal's company how to improve and sell it to other schools. It's hoped the system will eventually help sell students on a particular college.
Almost envision signs that say, you know, this camp is protected by, you know, security escort. And it's one of those things I think that just its time is coming.
So far, Nazareth and one other college are online with the system, but the company believes it can be used everywhere, from companies to retirement communities. This is all done by a Fairport company.
Anyone who's had a child on campus, I think, would go for something like this. Any idea what the cost is or going to be?
It can cost anywhere from $39 to $59, depending on how much the school is willing to pay. So it's something that I think we'll be seeing a lot more of.
Yeah, but even at the high end, that's not a bad price.
No, not at all.
For that kind of safety. On to some other news now. This summer, a national detective magazine will feature the case of a teenager whose identity has remained a mystery now for 15 years. The girl, known only as Jane Doe, was found dead in Livingston County. As News Source 13's Jane Flash reports, police hope the publicity will finally end their frustration.
Who is buried in the grave marked simply Jane Doe? 15 years after her teenage body was found shot twice, police still have no answer. When Henry Clements thinks of the child he found laying in his field, the years slip away.
Every fall when we go to harvest corn, I think about that girl laying there, and I just wish we knew who she was, who she belonged to. Somebody's missing a little girl.
Whatever clues there might have been in this Caledonia cornfield have long since been buried by winter snow. 15 years of winter snow. Who was Jane Doe? Was she a runaway? And is there a family out there wondering what happened to their little girl? Sheriff John York wants answers now more than ever. He was in charge of the investigation when it began in 1979.
We've run down over 10,000 leads on this already. We've distributed flyers to every police department in America of this case history and the child, and we've still left it unsolved. And someday we need a closure on this case for the kid's sake.
All those years ago, there were no centers for missing children. No network of nationwide teletypes to share information. Sheriff York once spent an entire year tracking the child's red jacket.
We traced that to a mushroom farmer in California, only to find out they had made, I believe, 750,000 of these coats nationwide.
I was going to ask you, do you remember how you felt that day when you finally...
I was just devastated.
Police believe Jane Doe was a runaway, probably from the South. A computer enhancement done in 1992 and featured on America's Most Wanted prompted thousands of tips. The hope now is that publicity in a national magazine will unlock the secret hidden in a snow-covered cornfield. Who is Jane Doe, and who wanted her dead? Jane Flash, News Source 13.
And the story will be featured in June's edition of True Detective magazine. A Catholic priest will spend the next 4 years and 3 months behind bars for his conviction in the Brinks heist. Throughout the ordeal, Father Patrick Maloney has maintained his innocence, but during sentencing, a federal judge cited videotapes and other proof the priest had control over some of the stolen money.
An effort is underway to ease racial tensions at Greece Olympia High School. During a morning assembly, the school superintendent announced a zero-tolerance policy for racism. The school asked the media not to cover the event to avoid disruptions, and News Source 13 honored that request. After hours of debate in Albany, the Republican-led state Senate approved its version of a death penalty bill tonight. It calls for replacing the electric chair with lethal injection. Juries would have the option of imposing the death penalty or life without parole. If no unanimous decision is reached, the state's current 20 years to life sentence would be handed down. And the death penalty could be applied in murders of police officers, prison guards, judges, witnesses, and in the case of serial and for-hire killings. Their version already has the support of Governor Pataki. The Assembly will vote on a separate version coming up on Wednesday.
We've had a mix of just about every kind of precipitation we could think of today.
Sure.
Yeah, some snow, some sleet, some freezing rain, a little drizzle, a little snow, and we're going to see that mixed bag continue. Some slightly better news as our temperatures warm up a little bit tonight. Tomorrow, however, we will see some rain, maybe some freezing rain, and that will change over to snow during the day. Our temperatures in the 30s, but will probably start to fall slowly during the day.
I'll see you in a few, Bill.
You bet.
Well, still ahead tonight, the president rolls up his sleeve for a worthy cause.
Plus, we'll tell you what a key witness in the O.J. Simpson case saw the night of the murders. And later, it was a backdrop for an Oscar-winning movie. What drew Kevin Costner in Dances with Wolves to one woman's backyard?
This portion of News Source 13 is brought to you by Xerox.
Hold it. These days, information is often out of date in the time it takes to publish it.
Hold it.
So, why print it before you need it?
Hold it.
With the Xerox DocuTech, you scan, store, and customize your documents electronically so you can get them instantly, when, where, and how you want them.
Hold it.
Scanning, printing, publishing. The Document Company. Xerox.
Perkins presents Dinner with No Reservations.
The shrimp boats are on their way. They're coming into the bay.
And that means Perkins' Shrimp Feast is back again. 18 plump golden shrimp, fries, slaw, and onion rings. All for a song. Dine out tonight with no reservations. Perkins, breakfast, dinner, and everything in between.
Jacobson's Oriental Rugs. With more than 7,000 rugs in stock, we're Rochester's largest Oriental rug dealer. Because we buy abroad and import direct to Central New York, we sell better quality rugs for less. Let our expert staff help you find the perfect rug for your home or office. Visit soon. There's no better place to buy a quality Oriental rug. Jacobson's Oriental Rugs, Learberry Center, Syracuse.
When it comes to low-cost life insurance, SBLI offers some of the most exciting figures around. Say you're a 30-year-old non-smoking male. You can get coverage this big for a first-year premium this small. If you're a woman, your premium is even smaller. For low-cost SBLI, stop by any Rochester Community Savings Bank or call 258-3140. It doesn't figure to go anywhere else.
Falling price. What would it sound like?
A crash.
Splat.
The prices do fall. They fall.
First it's like 12, okay, then it goes to 10, then it goes to 9.
It was $25.96, now only $22.96.
It was $59.76, it is now $54.97.
It was $28.96, it's now $24.96.
We like our customers and we want to give them a good deal.
Watch for falling prices.
This portion of News Source 13 is brought to you by Staples.
You're watching News Source 13 at 11 with Don Alhart, Jenny Ryan, Chief Meteorologist Bill Peterson, and Mike Catalana on sports.
A key witness for the defense has finally taken the stand at the O.J. Simpson murder trial. Rosa Lopez, a maid who lived next door to Simpson, testified that she saw Simpson's Bronco parked outside his estate at the hour of the double murder. Her testimony was videotaped after prosecutors argued to the judge that she would interrupt their presentation of the case. Jurors will see her testimony when the defense presents its case. Prosecutors say they have a surprise witness who can undermine part of Lopez's story.
New information into a deadly plane crash. Headlines our look at news from around America in tonight's News Watch. Hearings began today into the crash of American Eagle Flight 4184. Transcripts of the cockpit voice recorder show the pilot struggled for more than 30 seconds trying to regain control of the plane. 68 people died in that crash near Roselawn, Indiana. A long-awaited change is underway for air travelers in and out of Denver. Workers spent most of today moving from Stapleton Airport and into Denver International. The new airport opens tomorrow, months behind schedule and billions over budget. And Greg Louganis is taking his message around the country. The former Olympic diver spoke to Columbia journalism students today, less than a week after it was revealed he had AIDS. Louganis says he's overwhelmed by the amount of support he's received. And that's our look at what's making news from around America in tonight's News Watch. And in health news tonight, the American passion for weed and bug-free lawns could be making your child sick. Researchers found children who live at homes that use pesticides on their lawns have 4 times the risk of getting cancer. Despite warnings, many consumers don't realize the risks some pesticides carry.
A lot of people, they come and buy $40 or $50 worth of chemicals, and then we point out the safety equipment, and they don't want to spend $5 on a safety mask.
The American Cancer Society says more tests are needed to determine the scope of the problem.
President Clinton shed some blood today, but not in Washington's political wars. He helped kick off the annual Red Cross blood drive by rolling up his sleeve, and he urged other Americans to do the same.
it occurred to me that I ought to, I could really require everyone at the, I could really require everyone at the White House to contribute since they give blood every day anyway. They might as well give it to the Red Cross and do some good.
March is National Red Cross Month. Standing next to Mrs. Dole.
Yeah, I was going to say Elizabeth Dole, nodding there, smiling, and Penny for her thoughts. Huh?
Yes, exactly.
Still ahead tonight, some Buffalo Bills went south today to check out a new team. Mike Catalano will have details coming up in sports.
But first, our forecast. Chief Meteorologist Bill Peterson joining us next, checking out the almanac. The high 41, the low 17.
$30 copies.
These should be on letterhead.
Letterhead.
No client's name? Bib? What's bib?
The client's name.
Try Bob. Welcome aboard, Bob.
It's bib.
Need to save on paper? Staples has paper, cartridges, toner, over 5,000 office supplies, all at the guaranteed low price. Staples, yeah, we've got that.
News Source 13 Chief Meteorologist Bill Peterson's weather forecast is approved by the American Meteorological Society. Coming up next.
I've been Polynesian dancing since I was 10. Of course, up here, it's not exactly the rage. So I decided to teach it over at the Legion Hall. And I bought a Saturn with anti-lock brakes and traction control to help me get there, even in really crummy weather. Hey, if everyone had a Saturn with traction control, I'd have someone to dance with.
Have you heard about the 2-for-1 sale at Rochester Telephone?
Select one feature for your phone and